Welcome back to the channel as we dive deep into 5 sci-fi movies that you must watch. All credits and places to watch will be in the description below. And if you enjoy this type of content, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. In deep space, no one hears you scream. But in Ash, the silence is far more terrifying. Directed by Flying Lotus, Ash is a neon-drenched psychological sci-fi horror film that drags you, breath by breath, into a cold, clinical nightmare set aboard a remote orbital station. What begins as a slow unraveling of mystery quickly plunges into pure existential dread. The film opens with Isa Gonzalez waking up alone in a sterile chamber. Her crewmates? Gone. The ship's systems? Malfunctioning? Her memories? Fragmented. As she stumbles through dim corridors lined with flickering panels and hissing vents, the question isn't just what happened here. It's what did she do? Or worse, what is she? As she explores the station, we uncover scraps of logs, blurred surveillance feeds, and cryptic AI messages. The mood is thick with unease, and the pacing is methodical. Every corner turned feels like a threat. Every silence is weaponized. And soon, the idea takes root that something might be inside her, or maybe something has replaced her. Ash leans heavily into identity horror. If you woke up and didn't know whether you were still you, would it matter? Flying Lotus has crafted a visual experience more akin to a hallucination than a film. The cinematography is drenched in deep blues, blood reds, and stuttering strobes. The camera lingers too long. It tilts just slightly wrong. You feel off balance from start to finish, and that's the point. This isn't comfort food cinema. This is a psychological probe. The sound design amplifies everything. Echoing heartbeats, mechanical whirs, distorted voices whispering backwards, and beneath it all, a relentless synth score that throbs like the ship is alive or dying. Gonzalez gives a powerful, restrained performance. She sells the slow breakdown of sanity without ever screaming for it. You feel her panic, her confusion, her growing terror as she begins to question whether she's the last survivor or the final threat. What makes Ash truly unsettling is that it never gives you solid ground. The truth is slippery. You're meant to doubt everything. What you see, what you hear, and even what you believe about the main character. This is Alien meets Under the Skin, but with the dream logic of Possessor. It's high-concept horror told with art house sensibility. It won't be for everyone, but for those who like their science fiction laced with dread and questions about what it means to be human, it's a must-watch. By the end, you won't get closure, but you will get under your own skin. Because ASH doesn't want to explain itself. It wants to infect you. Stream it on Shudder now. And do yourself a favor. Watch it in the dark, alone, with headphones on. Just don't blink. Because when the lights flicker next, you'll wonder if something's standing behind you. Let me say this loud and clear. Godzilla -1 isn't just a monster movie. It's a cinematic earthquake. This isn't the Godzilla you cheer for. This is the Godzilla you fear. Directed by Takashi Yamazaki, Godzilla -1 is a blistering return to form for the king of the monsters. Set in post-World War II Japan, this film rips apart not just buildings, but the soul of a nation already brought to its knees. And it's incredible. We follow Koichi, a kamikaze pilot haunted by his past, by the war he survived, and the people he didn't save. Just as Japan begins to rebuild from the rubble, something ancient and angry rises from the sea. Not to conquer, not to reason, but to destroy. And let me tell you, this Godzilla doesn't stomp in with slow, cheesy roars. He erupts from the ocean like a nuclear nightmare. This version is fast, aggressive, and terrifying. His atomic breath? It doesn't just burn, it levels cities like a bomb going off in real time. The action is absolutely jaw-dropping. The destruction scenes don't feel like CGI spectacles. They feel like war. Every building that collapses, every tidal wave that smashes a port, you feel the weight, you feel the terror. The sound design, explosive. The visuals, flawless. This is monster mayhem that feels real. But what really elevates Godzilla -1 is the human drama. This isn't just a story about survival. It's about trauma, guilt, and redemption. Koichi's arc is painful and powerful. He's a man who couldn't die for his country, now trying to live for something more. Alongside a found family of survivors, his adopted daughter, a mechanic with nothing to lose, a scientist who understands what's coming, he finds a reason to fight again. And the fight is epic. When the final showdown hits, it's not just another city-crushing battle. It's emotional. It's symbolic. It's about taking control of your fate. And when they finally stare down Godzilla, the question isn't just, how do we kill it? It's, do we even have the right to survive? The cinematography is stunning, gritty, grounded, and full of weight. The score by Naoki Sato builds from haunting strings to full orchestral thunder as the film surges toward its explosive finale. It's vintage Toho style fused with modern filmmaking mastery. And if you're wondering, do I need to know the other Godzilla movies to watch this? Absolutely not. This is a standalone masterpiece. It resets the monster mythos and does it with elegance, edge, and emotional firepower. No surprise it won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Every single frame is dripping with craft and care. So here's the deal. If you want a film that delivers emotion, explosions, and one of the scariest Godzillas ever put on screen, stop scrolling and watch Godzilla -1 on Netflix right now. Because this isn't just Godzilla coming back. This is Godzilla Unleashed. And this time, humanity isn't the hero. Time travel stories often get lost in paradoxes and plot twists. But Our Times dares to do something different. It brings heart to the science. This Mexican sci-fi romance, now streaming on Netflix, is the kind of film that sneaks up on you. Quiet, thoughtful, deeply emotional, and surprisingly unforgettable. The story begins in 1966 with two brilliant young physicists, Emilio and Ava, who are on the verge of discovering something extraordinary, a way to slip through time. But this isn't your typical flashy time machine moment. It's quiet, intimate, like stepping into a dream they didn't quite mean to have. They wake up in the year 2025, and everything is different. Cars drive themselves. Phones live in your hand. Music sounds stranger. But the biggest shift isn't technological. It's emotional. In a world that feels colder and faster, the two time travelers are like ghosts. Strangers in a future that's forgotten how to feel slow, how to listen, how to love without distraction. And this is where Our Times really shines. Instead of getting caught up in the mechanics of time travel, the film focuses on the human fallout. Emilio wants to study the future. Ava wants to go home. But as the days pass, their relationship is tested. The world around them grows more alien, and the question becomes painfully clear. If you leave your time behind, can you ever get it back? Director Gibran Bazan frames the story with a gentle hand. The cinematography is soft, nostalgic, and haunting. Every frame feels like a memory, even the ones happening in the present. You get golden sunsets, quiet coffee shops, and lonely trains passing through neon cities. It's sci-fi, yes, but it's romantic first. The performances are beautifully restrained. The leads, Sebastián Aguirre and Jimena Romo, carry the film with an aching sincerity. You believe their confusion, their wonder, and ultimately their heartbreak. There's a moment, no spoilers, where one of them stands in a crowd, completely still, while the world rushes around them. That image alone is worth the entire film. The soundtrack? Soft piano keys? Echoes of vinyl records? Distant voices on old radios? It feels like a love letter to the past, even as the characters stand firmly in the future. And the ending? It doesn't try to shock you. It tries to move you. And it does. Our Times isn't a blockbuster. It's not trying to change the genre. It's trying to remind us why we fell in love with sci-fi in the first place. Not for the lasers or the paradoxes, but for the people, for the questions, for the quiet ache of what it means to be human, lost in time. This is a film that invites you to slow down, to look around, to ask yourself, what would I do if I saw the future? And more importantly, would it still want me? If you're looking for heart, not hype, stream Our Times now on Netflix. But be warned, it might just leave you wondering if you're living in the right time. The future has already ended. We're just living in its ghost. The Electric State, directed by the Russo brothers and based on Simon Stollenhag's haunting graphic novel, is a dystopian road movie wrapped in heartache and holograms. Set in an alternate 1997, the film imagines a world where technology didn't save us. It quietly destroyed us. And in that broken silence, one girl walks west. Millie Bobby Brown stars as Michelle, a teenager on a cross-country mission through the ruins of a once futuristic America. She's searching for her missing brother, accompanied only by a floating robot named Skip, an outdated, clunky companion who feels more human than most people she meets. The world she travels through is mesmerizing and terrifying. Giant war drones lay rusted in overgrown fields. Neon billboards flicker in abandoned towns. Massive helmets, once used to link minds to a digital dreamscape, lie cracked and empty like discarded skulls. Civilization didn't collapse with a bang. It just unplugged. But the electric state isn't just about the fall of mankind. It's about the small, personal stories left behind. Michelle's journey is less about saving the world and more about preserving the last pieces of someone she loves. Her brother once escaped into the digital net, a place where people could live without pain, without memory, without fear. But Michelle wants the truth, no matter how ugly it is. Along the way, she meets survivors clinging to routine, a gas station clerk who still plays tapes for no one, a farmer raising crops beneath a crashed satellite, a child who thinks the machines are gods. The film doesn't rush. It invites you to sit with grief, with hope, with the quiet idea that maybe we're not meant to escape our pain, but to carry it. Visually, the electric state is jaw-dropping. Every frame looks like a painting, desolate, vast, beautiful in its decay. The blend of practical landscapes and CGI tech is seamless. Robots don't feel fake, they feel forgotten. The cinematography leans into wide desert skies and collapsing cities framed in golden light. It's the apocalypse, but it's soft, lonely, poetic. Chris Pratt appears in a supporting role as a mysterious traveler with ties to Michelle's past, and his performance is subdued and nuanced. But make no mistake, this is Millie Bobby Brown's film. Her portrayal of Michelle is layered, fierce, and deeply human. You believe her every step of the way. The soundtrack pulses with synths, static, and ghostly echoes, like signals from a world that's still trying to speak. The score by Steve Jablonsky carries both melancholy and wonder, a perfect match for a world that's beautiful because it's dying. By the time the story reaches its final act, the sci-fi elements fade into something more raw: grief, memory, and the weight of letting go. The ending isn't about winning. It's about finding a place to rest, even in a world that no longer feels like home. The electric state asks a quiet question. If we build machines to forget, who remembers us? It's not a loud movie. It's not trying to be a franchise. It's trying to be felt. And if you let it, it will stay with you long after the credits roll. Stream it now on Netflix. And if you do, take your time with it. Because the silence in this story says more than any explosion ever could. There's a place just past the edge of civilization, a scar in the earth, a place no one comes back from. That's the Gorge. And once you fall in, there's no coming out the same. Apple TV Plus brings us The Gorge, a stylish, violent, and surprisingly romantic sci-fi thriller that asks one impossible question. Can two broken people survive in a world designed to tear them apart? At the center of the chaos are Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, playing two elite government assassins who meet in the most unlikely place, a rehabilitation facility built to retrain deadly operatives after they've snapped. Think trauma therapy, with bullet wounds. They're meant to be reprogrammed, reassigned, and reintegrated. But instead, they fall in love. Their chemistry is electric. They're dangerous, chaotic, volatile, and completely drawn to each other. It's the kind of love that burns too hot to last. And when they're thrown back into the field, tasked with navigating a war-torn gorge filled with hostile tech, collapsed infrastructure, and rogue soldiers, that love is tested at every turn. The film is part war movie, part lovers-on-the-run thriller, and part post-apocalyptic tone poem. Director Scott Derrickson brings a kinetic energy to every frame. Action scenes hit hard, with brutal close-quarters combat, high-stakes sniper duels, and explosive chase sequences that feel almost too intimate. Every fight is messy, personal. You don't just watch these characters bleed, you feel like you're bleeding with them. But it's not just about survival. The Gorge is ultimately about connection. Two killers who have been programmed to suppress their emotions are suddenly forced to confront the one thing they were trained to avoid: vulnerability. That raw, dangerous thing called love. Visually, the film is stunning. The Gorge itself is a character. Jagged cliffs, metallic debris, thick fog rolling over forgotten ruins. It feels like a memory of war etched into the earth. Drone shots hover above burnt-out bunkers while digital ghosts flicker on shattered billboards. The aesthetic is both futuristic and grounded, like Children of Men meets Edge of Tomorrow. The sound design is immersive. Gunfire echoes through the canyon walls. Radio static cuts in and out like a dying signal. And the score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross pulses like a heartbeat, caught between fear and longing. Anya Taylor-Joy brings a quiet fury to her role, all steely eyes and bottled rage. Miles Teller plays against type here, vulnerable, wounded, yet still lethal. Together they're a storm. You believe every moment between them, whether it's whispered confessions or blood-soaked arguments. The third act is wild, raw action, emotional collapse, and a final choice that will either break your heart or set it on fire. The Gorge doesn't ask you to like its characters. It asks you to understand them. And by the end, you just might. It's not a happy movie, but it's a cathartic one. If you're in the mood for something intense, emotionally charged, and brutally beautiful, stream The Gorge now on Apple TV+. Just remember, some people are born broken, some people are made that way, and some jump into the Gorge hoping to be remade.